Welcome to another edition of Canning with Jimmy Dick. So today we're going to make Fiesta Ranch Pinto beans. And right now I'm just showing you what you're going to need. Fiesta Ranch dip. If you've never tried this, which I hadn't prior to this, it's awesome. So you're going to need 2 slices of bacon, jars, a pound of pinto beans that I soaked overnight, and some onion and a jalapeno. What I'm doing now is I'm just cutting, I have my 2 slices and they're stuck together, and I'm just cutting off a little chunk, putting in the bottom of every jar. You know, it's pork and beans, right? Just add a little fat to it to make it even tastier, more unctuous, which is a word. So now that I have that in there, I am going to add some onion. And it's just add as little or as much as you want, or if you don't like onion, don't add any. It's America, right? You're free-ish. So, if you like onion, if you don't, fine. You can even use dehydrated onion, although use that sparingly because that stuff is strong. After that, behind the glass, what I'm doing is I'm slicing the jalapeno into semi-thick slices. And I'm only going to put 1 slice in each jar. It is Fiesta, so I'll put a little heat. Bring the heat. 1 slice will do just fine. Once I get all that in there, I'm going to put a half a cup of these pinto beans that I did soak in water overnight. I mean, how easy is that? This is so easy. How hard is it? Let me see. You pick through them, make sure there's no rocks or stems, and then you put them in a bowl, cover them with water, and you go to bed. Wow, exhausting. So, you know, hey, it's easy is my point. And of course, afterwards, I found out that I needed 7 jars instead of 6. So that's what I'm doing here. I had a little bit of onion left over, which I knew I saved for a reason. And I'm just going to fill it up like I did the others. Now, back to canning. A lot of people are afraid to can. It is not hard at all. As you can see, it's freaking easy. There are some steps you need to follow, though, just to make sure everything's safe. So my beans are all loaded up. Now I'm ripping open that package of Fiesta Ranch dip mix. I'm going to put a teaspoon in every jar. And that's it. Can you believe that? How easy is that? Well, there's one more ingredient, but it's just water. So if you're afraid to can, don't be. Now these have to be pressure canned. There's 2 types of canning. Hot water bath canning, which is mainly like for tomatoes and salsas, because they have a high acid content. Canning beans has a very low acid content, so it has to be pressure canned. So now I have my tea kettle of boiling water, and I'm just going to fill these up, leaving 1 inch headspace. What that means is 1 inch is from the bottom of the treads where you screw the lid on to the top of the jar. That's 1 inch. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So I'm going to fill all these jars up with the boiling water. The reason for this also, oh, there's my debubbler. This is an important step. You need to swish it around and make sure there's no air bubbles in there. Air bubbles contain bacteria because bacteria lives in oxygen. So we want to get all the air bubbles out. This way nothing will spoil. Now the reason for the hot water is it's going to go into my already boiling water hot pressure canner. So if you put cold and hot, guess what? It cracks and explodes. Not a good day. So if you don't have a debubbler, just make sure you use something plastic like the handle of a spatula. This is just pure white vinegar and a paper towel. I am going to wipe off the tops of these jars. I did use powder, and even though I couldn't see it, there was some on there, and it could prevent a good seal from the lid. You don't want that. We don't want anything spoiled. So now I got my little magnet thing here, and I'm going to lift my lids out of the hot water. And you know, another new thing is you don't have to boil lids. Actually, it's recommended that you don't. Just put them in hot water, and all you're doing is you're softening up that little gummy underside that seals to the jar. So, and you don't have to boil the lids at all. I used to have to boil lids, and you have to try and screw these things on, and they're all hot, and your fingers are burning. No mas. All you have to do is screw it on, and you're only going finger tight. The reason you only want to go finger tight is you don't want to buckle the lid, and that will also prevent a seal. I know it sounds daunting, like there's a lot of things to look out for, but it's still super easy. Now in the canner I have 2 inches of water. You only need 2 inches because it's going to be steam and pressure cooked. Unlike hot water bath canners, you have to submerge the jars. In pressure canners you don't. So I'm going to put all 7 jars in here, and then once I get them in, I'm going to adjust them so that they're not touching the sides of the canner or each other. I mean, if they are, it's not a huge deal. I just like to do it just because that's how I roll. Then that leftover vinegar I had, I'm going to throw it in there. This keeps your jars from getting cloudy and ugly and all that good stuff. So we put this on there, mash her down, and twist and lock. Here's an important step. Turn your heat on high, and I put that pillow behind that vent. You want to vent steam for 10 minutes. Super important step. Then you're going to put your weight on it, which everything has a weight. You can see that little round thing, and I'm going to bring it up to 10 pounds of pressure. So we're going to make sure this pressure cans for 75 minutes. If at any time that temperature gauge drops below 10 pounds, you got to start the timer over. Once it's done, turn your burner off and let it set until all of your readings return to 0. Then it's safe to remove the weight and the lid. After that, let the cans sit in the canner without the lid for 10 minutes. Then you can use your little grabby-doos here, pull them out of the canner and set them on your counter. Now leave them sit for 12 to 24 hours. After that, wash them, remove the lids, label them, and store them. Hey, if you like this video and you learned something, how about a thumbs up? Also, please consider subscribing to my channel. I really do appreciate all the viewers. Look at these beauties. They are so good. Stupid good. I think you're going to like them. Have a great day.